before you get going, hang on,
Yes.
hang on. I just went to the YouTube page and it says it's still waiting for us.
Oh,
It's not showing us as live.
well, it should be showing us as live. There, I'm streaming
It
now.
says waiting for the first thing. Yeah.
All right, we're streaming now.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Whoopsie.
Oops.
We,
All
we
right.
only rolled the intro already, so we're going to have to do this all again. But,
Okay.
all right, who do we got? We got 3D Printing Llama. We got Jake from State Farm, John Kitchen, Rover, and Terry Murphy. Thank you for waiting, guys. Apologies
Yes.
for all the fun new technical issues we were sorting out tonight.
Spartan Props is here with us tonight. We've got Ronnie Julian, Gary T, Terry Murphy. We got 3D Print and Painting. That's our good friend Jerry Knapp. I don't know what's going on with YouTube tonight, but it is just, well, part of it's our problem because we're using some different setups. I'm using my DSLR tonight to stream with instead of the webcams. And I'm using a Elgato 4K cam link to do that. And we're running into just a couple of little issues. So let's get started the right way, shall we? Hey, there we go. And there's one Raz. Welcome, sir. Oh, we're blaming it on YouTube? No, we're blaming it on us because we're trying some new hardware this evening. I don't know. It's doing what it's doing.
I think it's a little too good for Richard's PC.
That could be. Now, you got to remember, the PC I'm on is the original PC I built for streaming when I was doing another show 7 years ago. So this is like a
Yeah,
3770K, I think, is in here as far as the processor goes.
And you're trying to encode it like 4K or something, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm encoding only at 1080p. But, yeah.
Oh.
For the first
Well,
time,
whatever,
your
at least it
sound
works.
is balanced, Richard. It's not 3 dB down. Oh, okay, great. I'm using my lav tonight, so that's probably part of it. Are you at Murph? No, Oddsball, we are not at Murph. David Harmon, hello, sir. And there's Sanctumar Merchant. I know I butchered that. I do apologize. I'll just call you
Good morning from India.
Shankta.
My goodness.
I'm just
That's
going to
a
call him
distance.
Shankta. Or Shanit. Shanit. That's it. Shanit. Shanit Kumar. Shanit. I'm going to call him Shanit. That's your new nickname.
Good luck. Good luck.
There you go. So tonight we are talking about Cura 4.0. We're going to be answering your questions about Cura as well. We've both had a chance to use it a little bit. The reason that I thought we'd talk about it tonight is I had an individual come into Spool 3D this week, and he brought me his laptop and some prints that had gone astray on him, and they were severely under extruded. So, and I'm frozen again, aren't I?
You are frozen. Every time you do a great pose, you freeze. So
freeze.
I think we're saturating you a bit there. I'm gonna do you guys a favor. I'm gonna lower my resolution to Richard. That way I'm not completely killing his feed nearly as much. Maybe that'll help it out a bit. Well, it is another Saturday, probably the last warm Saturday for Calgary for a bit too, and hopefully you guys have been able to open your windows and maybe do some painting. I know I haven't yet. I got outside for a grand total of 5 minutes today.
That was it, 5 minutes?
Welcome back, Richard.
I'm here.
Yeah, about that.
I may have to do that from time to time, so I'm not going to lean in too close where it has to take all that information off my fat head.
Yeah, I dropped my quality to make it a little bit easier here, but hopefully we can fix that in the future.
Yeah, so if I
like all my
do
shiny
freeze,
SLR goodness.
if I do freeze, just be aware that I may end up just freezing and just talking. Who knows what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I'll
get
try
into
to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. So this week, somebody came into the shop, brought me his severely under extruded prints, and the first thing I thought about when he upgraded to 4.0 was that what could be wrong, and in fact, what was wrong is that the filament size was set wrong. It was set to 2.85 instead of 1.75. So while I fixed that, I went back and I showed him a couple of things, and he's on a seriously old Mac, so or a MacBook, a Mac Air, I think it was. So
Right.
the problem became that 4.0, and I'm going to pull it up on my screen here so you guys can have. There's my audio.
Audio there, Rich. There we go.
There we go. Our audios just drop out for whatever reason when I go to this input. So here we've got Cura 4.0 going. You see my mouse is, you probably can't see my mouse on there, but I should be able to move things around on the screen. Yep, okay, as long as I can do that, that's all that's important. So you can see up here that I have a Creality CR10S loaded, a generic PLA. I've set my layer height to 1.2, and we're going to talk about why I did that in just a second. But first, let's go under where it says Creality CR10S. Now, they've done a few things. You can see that the interface is a little bit different. You can see I have two printers selected here. I can go in and manage those printers. I'm going to come back to that in a second. There's a drop-down arrow here for your generic PLA, and there's all kinds of different manufacturers in here, so you can load for a specific manufacturer. You can manage the materials and add your own. We're just going to leave it at the generic PLA. Now, if you click over here, you'll see that we've got 4 icons and a pencil. We've got the one that says fine, 0.12 millimeters. We've got 20%. We've got off and off. But first, we're going to click right where it says fine 0.012. Once you click that, that entire drop-down comes up just like you would see it in Cura 3.6. And this is where people are getting severely confused, because this is not up by default anymore. This is actually hidden, and it's hidden so it gives you more real estate to see your model on screen. But everything in here, I can assure you, is the same as older versions of Cura, or at least 3.6. What has changed, though, you'll notice, I'm just going to close these printer settings for a second. You'll notice that Marketplace is up here in the corner on the right-hand side. Right beside that is Sign In. Let's talk about both of these for a minute. Now, Marketplace replaces the old plugins menu. So if we hit Marketplace, it will come up with a brand new window that says Marketplace, showing plugins and materials. And we are going to, there we go, populate it with all the plugins. Or it should be coming up. Maybe not coming up. It's probably not coming up.
It may take its time, yeah. I can see if I have it on my side here.
Yeah, let's see if you can pull it up on your side.
Here, so...
All right, there you go.
If you... There we go. Okay, so here's the new plugin and material marketplace. So as you can see, it kind of looks the exact same as the old marketplace. We still don't have a search dialog, which is a big negative in my books. But from the first glance, it does look like we do have new plugins, including things like Virgin and Title Bar, which I have installed, so you can see 4.0 in my title bar. I thought I tried to install this sidebar one earlier, which actually goes and forces the sidebar back in. Hey, look at that. Installed, and then you just have to reload Cura to get it back in. Yeah, I mean, I really don't like the verbiage of Marketplace, though. That seems unnecessary.
It does a little bit, but here's what is missing that I felt was a very important add-on, especially for new people buying 3D printers anytime in very recent days, and that is the Cura settings guide, which was available in 3.5 and 3.6. I think it went back to its availability of 3.4 as well. I could be wrong about that, but the settings guide is now missing. which I thought was a really handy idea for anybody that was on 3.5 or 3.6. Is it completely necessary? Not really, but, and you know, you've got other things in here, like you've got auto orientation, you've got Blender integration, Dremel 3D20 is in there as well, FreeCAD integration. So there's a lot of programs that can work with Cura as well right out of the box. There's also Repetier integration. So if you're using Repetier as your firmware, that is a great thing to have. So that makes sure that you get your stuff done right. So there's a Thinga browser in there as well, sidebar GUI. So there's all kinds of things that you can add to this. And I highly recommend that people go ahead and look at some of these. There's also materials that you can put in that maybe not in the materials drop down. But just by clicking the materials, you can go ahead and add in a whole bunch of different materials.
And it's by brand, right? So as long as the
Yes.
company actually submits the material profile, ideally these should be tested with all those companies. But other guys too have added in different materials. So you can see we've got the generic profiles for each material. But you know, we've got Ultimaker, obviously, Polymaker. I didn't even know Owens Corning was making filament, but okay. Matter Hackers, DuPont. I'm still waiting to see a couple of the other big brands, I guess. But is it really worth it? I really don't think so, to be honest. I mean, it's a nice to have, but I don't think it's really applicable to the hobbyist who buys a different flavor of the week.
I agree with you on
So
that.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and restart Cura here, and
Okay.
we're gonna have a look and see what all some of these new plugins are like.
And while he is
So
working on that, I'm going to go back over to mine here. We'll just cut to my screen. A lot of people ask me for a profile for Cura for the CR10 or the Ender 3 because a lot of people know that I use those. And at the end of the day, do I want to share the profile that I've made? Sure, but everybody's situation is a little different. And my profile, although it may work great for me, may not necessarily work for you. And the reason for me not putting them up is because I don't have enough time in a day, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'd love to have more time to walk people through it that have downloaded the profile and not working for them. So with that said, I think the best thing for me to do for you guys is to just go ahead and not download my profile. You can walk through it with me as I do that today. And we are going to start up here in quality. So I'm using CR10S for this particular profile. And you're going to see here that I've got it set to fine. And in that fine setting, I have changed some things. So I now am running at 0.12 for my fine setting. Now, all Creality machines, because of the lead screw that is on them, it is an 8mm lead screw or an 8mm lead screw. The math for that, I'm just going to give you the numbers, is 0.04. So every layer height that you do should be a multiple of 0.04. So in my case, if I wanted fine, 1.2 is fine enough for me. If I wanted to go to extra fine, and you can see here in this, if I go to the extra fine, I've just changed it. You can see it's still at layer height 1.2. Now, or 0.12, pardon me, 0.12. But my actual layer height for that should be 0.08. And down here, you're going to see initial layer height. I always double that. If I'm below 1 and below, I always double that. So double this would be 0.16 for my initial first layer height. Now, yes, that's going to give you a little bit of an elephant's foot. Not much, but it will give you a little bit of an elephant's foot. I don't know why you dropped out there, Brian, but your audio dropped.
I am just very quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So,
I'm just listening away because my UI now looks 100% different from yours.
oh, okay, great. So the initial layer height in this case, if I was going to print something at 0.08, which to me is extra fine, certainly I could go down to 0.04 with a 0.4 nozzle. Bear in mind that your 0.4 nozzle can print much smaller layer heights. Just be aware of that. And you still get some really good prints out of it. So I've doubled my initial layer height. So this is only the first layer that will print at 0.16. It's not going to print at 0.2, it's going to print at 0.16. I've left my line width to 0.4 because that's the size of my nozzle. Let's go down here to initial layer line width. And you can see here that I've set mine to 105%. And the reason that I've set mine to 105% is because I want a little bit more material to come out on that first layer so I get really good bed adhesion when I'm making my print. Now, as far as the shell goes, I'll move into that one really quickly. You'll see that it's at 0.8. So 0.8 is a multiple of whatever our nozzle size is. So our nozzle is a 0.4. So this effectively, if you go down to the next one where it says wall line count, is going to give me 2 walls. So if I were to increase that and I wanted 3 walls, I would put that at 1.2, and you'll see automatically that the wall line count has changed to 3. If I put in 1.0, you'll see that it goes back to 2, but we know that that's not correct. So 1.2 would be correct to get 3 walls, okay? Moving on down, we don't really have to worry about any of this at this time. Where it says fill gaps between walls, I really want to leave this as default as I can, because once you start getting in here and messing about, if you really don't know what you're doing, you're really going to mess up your prints, and then you're going to send me an email or you're going to come into the shop and you're going to say, Rich, I don't know what's wrong. I followed your tutorial to the letter on Saturday night, and guess what? Everything looks like crap. So let's go to infill. Infill density by default is set to 20%. I usually set mine down to 10%, just so you guys know. I don't mess with anything in here. The infill pattern is going to stay as triangles. I just kind of leave all of this alone because I don't really need to touch any of it. Material. Now, here's where you're going to run into where you want to make changes. If you're in a cooler, if you have your printers in a cooler room, you're going to want to change your default printing temperature. Now, I always have mine at around 210 degrees here in the basement because it is a little cooler and I get better prints that way. If you're finding you're getting too much stringing, reduce that temperature by about 5 degrees. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's probably going to be better to be a bit higher than a bit lower. The higher will impact the, it could sag if you go way above and beyond, but in essence, you want to improve that adhesion, right? So if it's going to be a bit cooler in the room, you can run it a bit hotter. If it's going to be a bit warmer in the room, just watch for kind of sagging and warping, and that's when you kind of know that you're going a bit too warm there. Also,
yeah, exactly.
You know, of course, with PLAs, crank up that blower there.
Absolutely. Now, as far as my build temperature plate or my build plate temperature, I always have it at 60 because of the environment I'm in. If you're in a hotter environment, you may not even have to have your build plate with any temperature. You could set it right to 0. Let's say you're in Arizona where it's really hot and humid. You may not have to have your heated bed on for printing with PLA. Now, when you're printing with PETG on a Cartesian-based machine that is not enclosed, make sure that you follow the instructions on the package from the manufacturer and bring that temperature up on the bed. Flow is always going to be 100%. Retraction right now is set to 5 millimeters in distance, and the reason that I have that 5 millimeters there is because that's the default and it's never failed me. It seems to work quite well. So again, I'm just trying to cover the basics here. The speed, I always reduce my speed. By default, the print speed is set to 60 millimeters per second. I always set mine to 40, and I get the best prints at 40 millimeters per second. Down here where it says enable acceleration control, if you're new to Cura and you're new to 3D printing, just turn that off. Feel free to turn that off and let the machine control everything instead of letting the G code that Cura is going to spit out control everything. But if you want
what are
to,
your acceleration and jerk ones set to there, Richard? Just curious. On the default.
my acceleration is set to 500.
Okay.
That's what I always.
Good.
That's what I always have it at. I don't really mess with the initial layer travel acceleration. I can stay at 5,000. That doesn't bother me. But where it says enable jerk control, this is where you're going to experience ringing or no ringing, ghosting, that kind of stuff, salmon skinning. I've noticed that by reducing your jerk settings, the number in your jerk settings down to 5, this by default is set to 20 in Cura. So if you reduce that down to 5, your prints will come out a lot smoother and there won't be a whole lot of aberrations in your print. Brian?
I agree. I mean, you know, I've kind of moved a little bit beyond jerk onto the new technology, but I always kept it between 5 and 8. The moment I went above that, I encountered layer shifts. I encountered ringing on micro movements, because jerk, no, it doesn't mean we're a bunch of jerks, but it actually refers to the jerking motion of changing directions. And the lower the number is, it's going to slow itself down before it takes that directional change. So if it's too high and you hammer into a wall and try to stop, you're going to shake a little bit. But if you go and have it ease into that corner, yes, it's going to increase your print time, but it's going to ease the direction transition.
That's very true. Now, Jake from State Farm says, or just disable acceleration and jerk control and use what's in the firmware. Yes, you can do that. I have noticed, though, that Creality now is shipping with your jerk control set to 10 instead of 5. If you look at their firmware, if you download the firmware for your Creality machine, you'll see that the jerk control is all set to 10. And I think that's just a little bit too high, and that's where people are having issues with ringing and ghosting and that sort of thing. So if you want to leave it enabled, you can. You don't have to if you want to let the machine do all the work. Firmware is appropriate. Okay, if the firmware is appropriate, that is, you're absolutely right. Raymond Emsley says, mine's set to 20 and I don't have a problem. Prints perfect. If it prints perfect, great.
Raymond, you have an Ender, you have an Ender 3, right? Because Ender 3 does have a much better jerk tolerance than the CR10S and above. I know now, I can achieve 20 on the Ender 3 for sure.
Yeah, jerk too low can make the corners kind of rounded. You're right about that. And a little pinched out. I agree with that. But if it's too high, you have other aberrations. And I think that if you're doing something square and you're going to finish it anyway, I would say that your jerk setting at 5, you're going to just sand that down and make them sharp anyway. You can, or you don't have to. Now, when we go to travel here, I don't touch anything in here. I just leave it alone. Cooling, all I do is enable print cooling and then just leave it alone. Support, this is where you're going to turn on your generate supports if you want to add support material to a print. And then going in through here, zigzag is fine. Everywhere you can do it, either just touching the build plate or everywhere. Everywhere is going to fill in every hole with a little bit of support material. And that can be a real pain in the backside when you are trying to get material out. So right now we're just going to leave it off. Build plate adhesion, I've just got a skirt, so I do 2 lines around, distance of 4 millimeters away from my prints. If my print is big and it's getting really close to the edge, I'll reduce that distance from the print to about 2. Dual extrusion we don't have to worry about. Mesh fixes we're not going to talk about. Special modes and experimental. We're going to save all that stuff for a much more comprehensive guide to Cura 4.0 later as we go along. Now, with that, we're going to leave that part of Cura alone. I'm going to switch over to Brian, who is going to walk you through some of the stuff he's just done.
Yeah, you know, I've gone and revamped this. So right away, the first thing you're gonna notice in Cura right now is I have my sidebar back. So let's just quickly go through a couple of marketplace plugins you guys should install day one. We kind of went through the list briefly there, but the first ones, or the ones that I would hit right away, are the sidebar GUI, which restores the sidebar to what it looks like in Cura 3.6.1, which it gives you more real estate on the screen for parameters. This is how it should have been. I don't know why they went with that floating one, especially since you can't move it around. But it's definitely made an improvement right off the bat. The next one I would recommend installing is the Thingy browser, and I'll show you that in a minute why it's actually way better than I expected it to be. I haven't tried this one yet, the mesh tools, but anything that will help you repair STLs right within the slicer, I'm all for it. So grab that one. And then custom supports. Now, this, from what I was playing with from 30 seconds ago, has eliminated the final need for me to use Simplify 3D. So we'll take a look at that in a moment here. So anytime you install a plugin, it's going to install and then prompt you to close and reload Cura, to which it'll automatically be loaded on the next load. So right away, as I mentioned, we have the new sidebar, which is much wider and exposes all the settings, including one, Richard, I'm not sure if you noticed at the bottom of your list, for printer settings to set your filament diameter, because that is apparently something you need to change often.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I was
make
actually
sure that's
going to go back and
1.75.
show that in the material settings, but yes.
Yeah,
In
but
the
they
printer
threw under
settings, you
printer
can
settings
change
in
that.
addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why it's a drop-down option now. Either way, it's there. All right, so I spoke a bit about that Thingy browser. Now, you'd think, oh, okay, maybe it's just like a web URL frame, something or other. No, it's way cooler. So, click on Extensions, go down to Thingiverse, and hit Browse Thingiverse. Now, if we go back here, we have a full search dialog to search up anything. So here's an example of just a couple of default ones. They show up by default. Filament test cube. That sounds pretty awesome, eh? So if you click on it, click on the import files, it'll take you to the information about it. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you save it for later or see the thingy view number, but just click import, and bang. It's downloaded from Thingiverse, and it's right in your slicer. So, we got that. Next thing, let's try this custom support plugin here. So, as you can see, I'm actually manipulating it in the preview mode rather than doing it live there, or in the preview mode for the model. So, if let's see if we can make something really hideous here for an angle. It's going to try and build supports in, I think, by default. No, I told it off. So, by default, you have the support blocker feature in Cura, but now that we've installed the support adder, we actually have another option down here for custom supports. Now you can see I've got the model here, and for supports, I've got the support feature turned off. But when you add in this custom support feature, it's going to start basically throwing supports wherever we click these little cubes. So if we go back to the prepare, you'll see they actually show up as little cubes with a pattern on it. Let's see, I'm bad with my hotkeys today. Yeah, so you have a checkerboard pattern on these support blocks. And when we go to preview now, you can see it's built supports right up to those points, even though we have supports turned off. So you can set all your support settings and have it not auto-generate supports, and you can put in your own custom supports. So I'm really looking forward to playing with this tool going forward here. But I have been slicing with Cura 4 today and printing with it, and as long as you have a profile from Cura 3.6 coming forward, I haven't had really any problems with it yet. I've actually been quite happy with it. But if you are building a new profile from scratch, just be aware to check all those settings. The filament diameter, the, pardon me, like your materials, your temperatures, your speeds. Everything Richard just went through there just to make sure that it's going to be set up right. So far, as I said, the slicer does seem quicker to slice. Even if I go and slap in another support block here, let's see. Is it going to let me do that right now, or am I think I'm stuck in a preview mode. There we go. So I can drop another, click that, drop another guy there, and as you can see, it slices pretty quick, I would say. Now, I haven't tried the built-in monitoring and printing through here yet. It looks like we can use network-connected printers, but I haven't tried Octoprint yet on it. Comment here. Can you change all the parameters for those custom supports? Absolutely. Now, this is where it gets a little goofy, is I think you still have to click the Generate Support dialog to see all these ones here. So I've got zigzag and, let's see, let's go 50% maybe. Oops, is that not taken there? Come on. How do I have to... Oops. Too many hotkeys to press in it.
Now, 3D Printing Llama is saying that he prefers IdeaMaker S3D style custom supports. Now, I will agree that S3D has a great amount of supports, and they're a lot more customizable and easier to use with this. And this is what I was hoping with 4.0, is that they would have done something very similar to that, where you can just click on your object, generate your supports, and then go and subtract or add supports as needed. We're going to talk about different types of supports as we move forward as well. Not on today's show because it's a much more detailed subject, but we're going to talk about tree supports and how all that stuff works as well a little bit later on. But just from what I'm seeing that Brian's doing here, with this custom support, I think that has made things a little closer to S3D, and for a free piece of software, I think that this is a great alternative to anybody getting into 3D printing. It's a great little piece of software. Now, we're not sponsored by Ultimaker at all, unless, of course, somebody from Ultimaker is watching and they want to sponsor us. We'd be more than happy to have your money. But that being said, with this way that custom supports are now, they're still a little clunky, I think, and I think you might agree with that, Brian, that they're still a little clunky, but I think they are improving.
Dropping miniature cubes, so
yeah,
they
are
dropping
improving.
Miniature cubes, and there's no settings yet, so you know this is a third-party plugin, right? So I don't expect it to work like magic. But even right now, and I'm not saying Cura 4 is perfect, because if you haven't been watching me click away here in quite an amount of anger, it's not giving me any reason why I cannot update any of my parameters right now. So I'm clicking in here, I'm typing, and it won't take any numbers in any of the fields. So I don't know what that could mean there. That could mean that the sidebar plugin's having some issues too.
That could be.
I will continue to play with it here and tell you guys if that's the case. And if that is the case, that just shows how much they've messed with the back-end code. So... oh, that's great. It's installed, but I can't... oh, there we go. Okay, now I can uninstall it. Okay. Oh, I can I turn them on and off?
I think you can.
That would be all right if I can just... okay, so you can see I've got a lot of stuff in here, and you can turn off built-in Cura features, which is awesome. Hey, USB printing. You can shut that off. Now it won't take over your printer. Ooh, look at all these version upgrade plugins. 2.1 to 2.2 to 2.4 to 2... they got to stop rewriting this.
Yeah. A big step in the right direction, Rob Scanlon is saying, and I agree this is a big step in the right direction, especially for a company that is putting out a free piece of software. This software easily could be $100, $150, just like Simplify 3D is US. But the fact that this is such an open community sort of thing, I'm going to go.
Richard, are you still with me? I hear complete silence.
I'm still here. See, I've got his cat. It's just me and his cat now.
Yeah, I'm just loading up Cura again. Okay, I'm moving the sidebar to see. Hey, what do you know? Now I can type in numbers. Huzzah!
There you go.
Okay, so the sidebar plugin, hold off on that one, please.
Yeah, just wait on that. So yeah, I think that they could be charging for this. They're not. It's still free. It's available to all of us for free. And you know, just like Slicer PK is it PK or PE? PE is available for free, and Idea Maker is available for free. There are a lot of free solutions out there. We are going to slowly cover the different ones as both Brian and I learn them. We both we are both simplified 3D users, and I'm trying to get away from using it more and more so that I can try out some of these other ones and just see how they work with the machines that I have. Here at home, I've got two CR10Ss and an Ender 3. At the shop, I've got an Ender 3 as well, and I've also got my Wanhao Duplicator i6. And those, we're going to see how those work. Yeah, I hope that they don't make it a charge for program. I think it's a great little free program, and it works for what it does. Now,
Okay, so just a quick update on my side here. Now that I've played with these parameters, you can kind of see in the little preview here that I manipulated the support settings and then turned it back off, and it kept those settings. So any support settings you set under your generate supports there are going to propagate over to that support builder. So if we change the zigzag to triangles, let's say, and turn off generate support, it should go and give us triangle supports on our little cube here. And as you can see, it did. So that's the trick there, is you just have to set up your support settings and then turn off generate support, and then everything will work great. So I'm not complaining. I'm definitely going to try this later tonight and build my own custom supports, and we'll see how it turns out.
there you go. Now I want to remind you guys, because we're running out of time here again, and I know we kind of got started a little bit late again tonight, but it's the way it is. Now, first and foremost, I want to apologize because I don't know why the stream was set up for 5 o'clock today. It shouldn't have been. It should have been 7 o'clock like we do every Saturday night. I was sure that I had set it to 7 o'clock like I always do every Friday when I post it, but I apologize for all of those that were in the chat room or in the chat trying to get on. We do apologize for that and waiting for us patiently. When Brian phoned me, I was having a nap in my chair.
We don't need no Murph, do we? We'll just hang out in YouTube chat.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a lot
Brian,
cheaper.
I've got no video from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got
my
no
camera
video
went
from you.
Apparently, my Lewis script on my SLR did not work. There we go.
There you go.
You know, we're still just working out technical things. We're trying to do stuff that honestly is not normally done, shall we say? You know,
we're trying to bring you a better experience for starters. Yeah. We're trying to up our game and bring you guys a better, cleaner experience. Now, for those of that have asked about when, I know you saw the post that I put up yesterday about what's going to be happening on our Patreon. And for those of you that are Patreons, thank you. And we love your support. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you for supporting us all this time. I know we haven't really fulfilled much that we said we were going to do, but we are going to actually be starting with this guy right here. Dun, 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 dun. We are going to start with him. If you want to get this model, you can get this model free of charge from u3dprintshop.com. It is free. You can go and download it today, print it out. I reduced the size of this because it was way too big to fit onto my CR10S, so I reduced the size, and I really like the way it's coming out. You can see we've been doing some sanding and some priming on him. He's now ready for final primer. We're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and start painting him. And this is going to be our first painting project on our YouTube, or on our Patreon, pardon me. I'm getting my little painting set up over here. My airbrush and stuff is going to be in the back. We are going to paint him with a combination of both airbrushing and traditional brushing. So we're going to use both techniques. What else we got going on? That's going to be ongoing. So we're going to try and do 1 hour videos up on up on Patreon. They will go to Patreon first. They will be on Patreon until the series is done. 30 days after the series is done, we will condense them down into about a 20-minute episode and then put them up on YouTube. So if you're waiting for them to go on to YouTube, you're not going to get all the information. You're going to basically watch me paint for 10 or 20 minutes. And I think that's just the best way to do it. It helps to generate support for our show. Now, as you guys know, we pay for the show out of our pockets. So everything that we do for the show comes out of our pockets to support what we do, from gear to our supplies. The only thing that really is free to us is the space that we use over at Spool 3D and their internet connection, and the electricity. Yeah, that's free to us.
If you can't tell by this jittery YouTube feed we're given, yeah, we don't have primo equipment.
No. Normally I just use C920 webcams here at home, but today I wanted to try using my Canon DSLR with the Elgato 4K cam link. And it seems to be working. It does drop out every once in a while. I don't know why, but it does. It freezes me, but you can still hear my audio, which is weird. So I'm going to be showing you how to paint.
We're just giving your old video card at the hug of death.
Yeah. We are going to put some more instructional tutorials up on Patreon as well when it comes to more in-depth stuff like Cura, like slicing your model for the first time. We're going to keep all the regular stuff that we do on the show, but there's some more specialized stuff that we want to put up there. Now, if you're interested in supporting the show, there's several ways that you can do it. Just keep coming back and watching the show each and every week. We are trying. This has been a bad month. Oh, there we go. I'm frozen again. I move fast and it freezes.
If that's not a pinnacle of how bad it's been, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a bad month, we can't even get a feed for you. But we're trying.
Did I steal
we
Jack Black's Delgado? No, I didn't. I don't know what they're talking about there. But anyway, maybe
they're mixing up with the Elgato Stream Deck there, because
yeah.
or the Elgato Cam Link. I don't have it in the room here, but they've been back ordered on these for quite a while, and I just so happened to get them finally. A week and a half, or not even a week and a half ago, just very recently. We only plugged Richards in for the first time on Thursday or on Friday there in the studio to test it out, and it does work great. Don't get me wrong, it works excellent, but you have to have a high-powered computer to do it. So early on, you'll remember we were struggling. We got a new PC funded, and we got all that set up, and it works great in the studio. But Richards one at home is not at that same performance level. I hate to say it.
That's right. It's not.
So we're still looking for new GPUs. I think you said yours is like from the first era of the Core 2 Duos. So
no, this is a quad core. The one that's in here is a 3770K. So
I mean the GPU, because the GPU.
Oh yeah, the
GPU
rendering. Is like a 960. I checked today. It's a 960.
Wait, like a recent? That's pretty recent.
No, that's.
Oh,
that's 7 years old.
It's not a GTX 960.
That's right.
We're talking it's an 8. Oops.
yeah. So, it's an inside joke from his YouTube channel. Okay. But with that said, you guys, we are going to try and, like I was talking about supporting the show, there's several ways that you can do it. You can certainly watch the show, just let the ads play, because that helps us. We gain revenue through AdSense for that. We are trying to keep the ads on our YouTube videos to a very bare minimum. I know a lot of guys are trying to put in mid-roll ads now.
Mid-rolls?
Yeah,
and it's terrible.
I just think that kind of takes you out of the experience of whether you're learning or you're trying to get some information. So we're never going to put mid-roll ads in, ever.
We can talk about that for a quick minute too. Basically, the problem with mid-roll ads is they don't let you schedule in when they occur, really. So
Correct.
it auto places them, and every video I've watched, it auto places it dead center of a sentence. It's like there's a fixed time threshold, and if you don't have a long, and we're talking multi-second pause in your video,
Yeah,
it's just going to slam it mid-sentence, and it's not worth it. We're not going to get any extra revenue, to be
that's
honest
right.
with you. So,
That's right.
I mean, I'll be honest, we get ad revenue even if you skip the video. So if you don't mind turning off your ad blocker, I turned off my ad blocker for YouTube because, half the time it's like a 2 second, and if it's an unskippable, I just refresh the page and then it gives me a skippable video ad. So
Yeah, we're never going
that's
to
my plea.
mid-roll you guys. So yeah, there'll never be a mid-roll ad. It's not something that we want to do. It's not something that we think we should do. We have several ways that you can support through Buy Me a Coffee. We still have the Buy Me a Coffee account. And for whatever reason lately, people have been buying coffees. There's been several coffees purchased for the show over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think we've had something like 20 coffees bought over the last 3 weeks. So that helps us immensely. It's $3 a cup, so you can send us as many cups as you like at a $3 rate. We also have merch for those that aren't aware. On our Facebook page, we have our Teespring ad up there. It's right at the very top of our group. And you can go and you can buy a t-shirt and a mug, and there's a tote bag in there now. We're making some changes to it right now, where you'll see that there's a tote bag. There's two different colors of shirt. There will be no white shirts. There'll be a dark gray and a purple shirt, because those are the colors of our show. And the cups now say on one side they have our new logo, and on the back side says the first layer is your foundation to a great print. So
And we even bought some of the merchandise ourselves, so you'll get to see
yes,
firsthand what it looks like. We don't get a discount. Basically, whatever commission we make, we have to pay the commission to get it
yeah,
back after they take their 20% of it, so
yeah,
or whatever
exactly.
it is.
So,
It's
well, they take way more than
yeah. But
20%. Tell me, I can tell you.
well, oh yeah, well after the I'm saying after the manufacturing costs, if you will. So,
Now,
but
when
yeah,
we
you'll see those coming
reach
up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, when we reach a certain level of individual on our Patreon, or pardon me, on YouTube, I think it's 30,000. They turn on the membership button. It's either
Yes.
30,000 members or 40,000. I can't remember which it is, but then there'll be a join button, and once that join button starts, we are going to be ditching Patreon 100%. There will be no more Patreon at that point. But we still have ways to go. So Patreon is sort of the necessary evil right now.
Should we just
So
tell them the numbers? Because I mean, YouTube tries to keep it kind of hidden away, but
yeah, I don't.
honest answer is so if you've seen channels that have Teespring merchandise listed, we need to hit 10,000 and then we can put our link in there.
That's
And
right.
then for the subscription, we need 30,000. So, we don't talk too much about metrics. That's boring. There's enough
That's
channels
boring
talking
stuff.
about that
Yeah,
stuff there. But yeah, once we hit 10,000, and you can always help us by hitting that subscribe button, giving us a thumbs up, and ringing the bell. All you guys know that jazz. You're all our regulars, so I hope you're subscribed by now. And thank you for that.
Rob is saying that check out Brave browser and Bat Crypto. I have checked them. They really. I tried Brave at the very beginning. Really didn't like the way that they were doing things, so we just stuck with Patreon. Now, on this show, whenever we do a live stream, you'll see down at the bottom of your browser, or where the chat is, that there's a happy face and there is a little dollar sign there. That is for if you wanted to give us, what do they call that now? It's like a tip
Super
jar.
chat.
Super chat, that's right. So if you're interested and you want to help support the show, you can always hit that super chat whenever we're live, and you can send us a few dollars that way. And that all goes.
Which I think we're up to $10 for our Murph fund for next year.
Yeah, yeah. Right, yeah, we're using it right now to get our Murph fund for next year. We've been in talks with Spool 3D a little bit. We actually checked the map, which was really weird. And we found that Murph and Earth technically are both in eastern United States. And Murph is supposed to be Midwest Rep Rap Festival, and it's in Goshen, Indiana, which is not far from Chicago. I don't know where, maybe they consider that Midwest in the U.S., but yes, Jake, YouTube does take 40% of our super chat, but that's far less than what they take through the ad rolls. So super chat always helps us out. So I appreciate anybody.
That's a good question. What is our least margin one? Is it Buy Me a Coffee?
Our least margin one is Buy Me a Coffee. Yes.
Yeah.
They
so
only
if you don't want to pay the
25
corporate
cents.
overlords.
Yeah, they only take 25 cents for every coffee that is purchased for us. So.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, 40%. Yeah, it's a little high, but you know what? It all helps out at the end. Whatever we get right now, it's all helping out at the end. We are trying to work with Spool 3D to get us to Murph next year. As we've talked about last year and early part of this year, we're talking about the Northern Rep Rap Festival, which is NERF, for anybody that might be interested in something like that. It will be a Canadian Rep Rap Festival, not KERF, but NERF. So, thank you very much, Rob. Hey there, Cheryl C. Hello and welcome. We're just about done for the evening, but hello and welcome. Have fun, Murph 2020. I like that. We're starting to glitch out on our.
This is what's happening. Okay, I don't want to say stop the donations, but it seems any animation kills Richard. Now I can't even hear him. There you go.
There we go. I'm back now. The heat on my machine went up to 101%.
So, oh boy. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to say we're going to start a fund for Richard for a new computer, but
that might be the first thing we
definitely need to make a GPU fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, I mean, honestly, all the YouTube revenue we're making right now, we just put it right back into parts. As you can see, I put, I won't lie to you guys, I spent, I think, a good $300-400 this week on video equipment. So it's just to improve the experience for you guys there. And that was out of my own pocket. And then Richard, whatever, because Richard does most of the finances for the show there, it all goes back into equipment to upgrade the studio. So you saw us get Blackmagic cards this year. We're working on a new camera to improve our filming experience. And as you can see, we got the cam links to give us a 4K recording option or 1080p 60 even. So we're trying to put everything back into it to increase the video quality, and then eventually, I mean, YouTube, yes, they take a big margin, but at the same time, you guys don't have to physically pay us anything to watch the show either, right? So, you know, that it's kind of a win-win. It's a percentage that neither party has to pay. Let's look at it that way.
So I'm starting to shut things down, and I'm glitching like crazy.
Yeah, you're smoking her hard there, and I was just, if you hear the humming there, I just fired up my Ender 3 Pro on a test print job here. I have a model of Waluigi that I've had on my computer for a while, and I put in custom supports, and I'm gonna see how well it comes out. So this could actually turn out quite cool. If these custom supports work great, I think I'm fully abandoning S3D for the interim.
Okay, I think I've done it.
Yeah. Well, you're frozen on your side. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say your face broke the stream again, but
yeah, it did.
It's possible. So I think what we'll do maybe is we'll get Richard back for a quick shout out and sign off, and then continue the chat. Obviously, I haven't had much time in the past week to do some prints, but I love seeing all your prints on the Facebook group. So hop on over, join us at facebook.com/groups/thefirstlayer, and start posting your pictures of your prints, because it really does motivate me to keep on printing as well.
And I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back. We should have a strong stream now, as soon as it catches up.
Oh yeah, it's smooth now. So you can see we are very close to getting this set up going. To be honest, the whole Richard streaming from home thing was something that just happened like 3 months ago. So we built this huge immense, great processing PC for the studio, and then thought, oh, we'll just do all the live streams at the studio. No, so
No.
we'll work on it.
Well, here's the thing. Really, at the end of the day, all I really need to do to this guy here in the studio, here in my home studio, is to upgrade the RAM and upgrade the video card. The 3770K or 3750K, whatever it is.
That processor's fine.
Yeah, it's a quad core processor. I just need to upgrade the video card in this, and the one I'm looking at is about $400. So I'm looking at one of those new ones that's come out. Yeah, we'll get there. But yes, as far as Super Chat goes, thank you very much for everybody that is using the Super Chat. We really appreciate it. Anybody that is buying us coffee, we really appreciate it. Anybody that's buying our merch, we really appreciate it. We're going to be changing up some of the things in our merch store really soon. There's some new things that are coming out. I was going to put an iPhone case in there, but I just don't think that our audience needs an iPhone case when you can print your own. For those who are wanting our Maker coin, it is available from the files on our Facebook group page, so you can go and get one of those and download it and print it for yourself. I'm not worried that everybody is going to copy it and do whatever with it, but I am working on a keychain version of it as well, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell for that one. Oh, you're getting an
with that,
overheating warning.
Am I? Oh, there it is. I wasn't sure how long I could run without that.
Ben,
but,
you all need a PayPal link.
Well too.
Ben's saying we need a PayPal link. Don't get me started on PayPal.
Yeah. But I mean, even if you guys aren't contributing, thanks for watching. Because
yes, thanks for watching.
The views alone, they help us all. The subscriptions, it helps us all and helps us keep producing things. And for the merch store, I was thinking, because primarily we've just done logo merchandise. If there's something you guys are interested in, like some funny catchphrases or 3D printing jokes or whatever, let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the chat there, and I'll think up. I've got some good ones already in my head, and that are definitely not rip-offs of some of the other ones we've seen out there. So let me know what you think.
I'd buy more if I had a job. I've not even bought my filament in 3 months. Ben, it's tough all over, and I agree with you. Again, we're not saying that you guys have to, support us monetarily. And I know we're in the same boat here. I was asked the other day about supporting one of our community members who's disabled, and I just had to politely say that I can't, because I'm the only one who's bringing in an income in our home right now, and I got to split that income between the studio, what we need there, supplies for printing things for you guys to see, and keeping a roof over our head. So
it's why we don't review a new printer every week, is because everyone expects us to pay for those printers, and we're not doing that.
yeah, we're not doing that. So we get printers through Spool 3D. When they get them in, we get them in. So I get to do an unboxing of them, and it doesn't cost me anything in that respect. But at the end of the day, if I was to pay for every printer that somebody wanted to send me for a review, I would be broke and in the poorhouse. So, and then my wife would wonder where I'm going to put all these printers, and if I was going to use them all. We do have a lot of stuff to get going on painting, so that's coming up starting, I think I set the date for the 15th. The first episode of Painting Superman will be up on our Patreon. It'll be about an hour long, just so you guys know. All of the painting tutorials are going to be about an hour long. And I am going to be starting a service for people that want to learn to paint and want one-on-one instruction. I have one student now. We're going to do it through Skype, and I'll be training this student how to paint 3D prints, and they can take that painting and apply it to anything, whether it's 28 millimeter miniatures or anything along that line. So Brian, what do you got coming up?
Lots of travel for work, so I'll be out in Ontario towards the end of the month. I might visit some of the other 3D printing communities and makers out there and see if I can get some video going. It won't be elegant, but it's something there. I brutally murdered my CR10 today, and so I've got one operational printer right now. The CR10. Let's put it this way: there's a drill bit embedded in the hot end, so that's something. So
I'm
that's just
not
gonna be
even going
sitting
to
there.
ask how you
The
did that.
Well, that's what happens when you hack together the OEM thermistor, shove it in the hole for a year and a half, and then try to rip it out. And when it doesn't come out, you try and drill it, and your drill bit apparently just shatters inside the hole. So I'm going to be getting a new volcano block in the next few days.
Okay, well, we'll see you at the
You know,
shop
it's
for
all
that.
learning. Yeah, absolutely.
We are going to be continuing on with our printer build. On Monday, we have, or on Tuesday, pardon me, we have a new episode coming up. Not on the printer build. We're going to save that for Thursday. Last week was kind of and I apologize, I was really, really sick for like 3 days. Everything from a migraine to an earache to flu-like symptoms, and I threw my hip out. So, and it's not because I was doing anything with young women or young men, because I knew
You should
somebody would
say
say
with
something.
anybody. Just cover it
Yeah.
safe. Yeah, yeah. No, no, and the problem is I can only shoot so much at home too. So I'm uh, trying to do things. Actually, I'm just gonna quickly answer Gary's question. I did
Yeah.
finish the Moy head, and I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go grab it and just quickly
Go
show it
grab
off
it.
here. So bear with me
All right.
1 minute.
So again, thank you to all of you that watch the show. We do appreciate all of your support for watching the show. Just let the ads play; they help us. You know, it's tough all over, and I agree with that. And all we ask is that you just continue to watch the show and tell your friends about it, share it, and do that. All right, so Brian's back with his Moy head.
Yep. So I didn't get a chance to sand it, but I did get a chance to glue it. So this guy here has been sitting in my bathroom. You just pull a new one out of his nose, and you're good to go.
That is so gross.
It's it's gross and it's huge and it's hilarious. And as you can see, it can hold the big Scotties boxes too. So like, it's so ridiculous. I adore it. Raymond, if you are still in the chat, let me know if you actually finished yours, because I want to see how it turned out.
What is the name of the group
But
for chat? We don't have a group chat. We've got
we
no
did try
IRC.
Discord, but yeah, no, but nobody really cared for Discord. So we all congregate on Facebook. So I'll post
Yeah.
the link to our Facebook group. If you're like like the many of us who have just been too lazy to quit Facebook, but we got a thriving community of over 1,000 members there, and yeah, we love seeing your photos over there.
Yes, if you're printing something,
So I've
show it
posted
off.
that.
There you go. The First Layer at on Facebook. Show off your prints. We really enjoy seeing them. The only thing that we ask that you don't do is do any self promotion, and what we mean by that is if you have a YouTube channel, check with us first. Either myself, Brian, Jess, or Geraldine, and one of us will either give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down depending on its content. We've had people that have tried to post everything from sunglasses to toilet paper on our group, and it is really 3D printing centric, and it's dedicated to the First Layer. So we don't mind promoting other people. We do it all the time, but we just ask that you ask us first before going ahead and promoting your channel or something along that line. We'll help you get views, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're very supportive of the community there. Basically, the idea is, if you want to come to us and ask to share your message or your videos with our fans, we're happy with that. But if you're trying to go and well, not even inadvertently, if you're trying to directly do something nasty to compete with us, you got to understand that we have to look at our channel's interests too, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the guys you see on our page, like Ben Eady and Canadian Maker Project and all those guys, we all have kind of an understanding that we're not trying to knock each other off the grid. So as long as
And we
you're
work with Ben Eady
happy
quite
with
often.
that, yeah, Ben Eady, if you haven't seen his videos lately on the cosplay and the foam stuff, which is awesome because we focus on 3D printing on this channel, but that doesn't mean we're not open to showcasing integrating your maker skills with other mediums. In the case of Ben, building foam molds and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, the end goal for 3D printing is usually to solve a problem or to create something unique. Now, that doesn't mean that 3D printing is the entire procedure. So if you have some cool things, you know, what 3D printing kind of integrates into, or even maker projects, you know, showcase it off there. We don't have any problem with that. We love, you know, seeing how different people solve different problems. And
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
it's really all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of our time for tonight, guys. We do appreciate you sticking with us through all of our technical difficulties, and we hope that you learned something tonight. We hope that you were entertained, and we're glad that we got to engage with you on a Saturday night like we always do. And just remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. See you later, Brian. Thanks for joining me again tonight. Hopefully we'll see you next Saturday as well.
That's the hope, Rich. That's the hope.
There you go. And we hope to see all you guys right here next Saturday as well. Coming up, we got a brand new episode on Tuesday and a new episode on Thursday. I'm all over my sickness, so all my editing is going to get done on time. Till next time,
No more
have yourselves
excuses.
a great weekend.
See
How do
y'all.
you shut off the stream?